All right, analysis of functions. We're going to focus on 3 questions this year. F of x increasing, when we see that, we're going to think uphill from left to right. F of x decreasing, we're going to think downhill from left to right. And then f of x constant, we're going to be looking for that horizontal line or line segment, the place where it's flat, where the y values are not changing. Now, it's helpful for this if you'll pick 3 different colors, either color pencils or highlighters or markers. Something where you can mark up the grid, up the function in terms of increasing, decreasing, and constant. So choose one color for increasing, one color for decreasing, and one color for constant. So as we work through this lesson, question A is always going to ask, on what intervals of x is f of x increasing? Where is it going uphill from left to right? So on this grid, on this function, we're going uphill. Think about a person walking uphill, walking from left to right. Where are they going uphill? So highlight that part of the graph with whatever color you chose for increasing. And then think about the x values of this portion of the graph. So the x value at the very top of that hill is the 0.04. And so the x value there is 4. So this part of the graph has all the values of x that are less than 0, all to the left of 0. If we did it on a number line with just the x values, we'd see an open circle of 0. Everything to the left of that would be shaded. So x is less than 0 is the part of this graph where it's increasing. Decreasing means downhill from left to right. Highlight that part of the graph. It starts at 0 and goes to the right on this one, so it's x is greater than 0. Now there's no place on this graph where f of x is constant. There's no horizontal line segment. So we'll write empty set. The symbol for that looks like a 0 with a slash through it. So that means the set of x values where f of x, the function, is constant, is empty. There's no place where it happens. All right, next function, part A. On what intervals of x is f of x increasing? So locate that part of the graph. The x value on the right part of that graph is -1. It's everything to the left of that, so x is less than -1. F of x decreasing, that's the right-hand portion of the graph. I've highlighted it in orange. Everything to the right of 3, so that's x is greater than 3. And then the horizontal line or line segment is the flat part. That's where f of x is constant. We have a beginning and an ending point. So -1 to 3 is that interval. So if you have both a beginning and ending point, you'll put both numbers in your inequality, and you always list them from least to greatest using less thans. So this means x is between -1 and 3. Number 3, part A, on what intervals of x is f of x increasing? Going uphill from left to right, so notice it's that middle portion of the graph, begins at -2 and ends at 4, so it's between -2 and 4. List them from least to greatest using less thans. Part B, f of x decreasing. That doesn't happen, so empty set. And then part C, f of x constant is to the right of 4 and also to the left of -2. Use the word or when you join 2 inequalities together on these. Number 4, increasing. F of x increasing is going uphill from left to right. We see that on the right-hand portion of this graph. The x value where it starts is 2, and it's everything to the right of 2, so x is greater than 2. f of x decreasing, that's going downhill from left to right. So highlight that portion of the graph. It's everything to the left of 2, so x is less than 2. F of x constant, that's the flat part, never happens, so no, empty set. All right, number 5, the whole thing is going uphill from left to right. So if it happens on the whole graph, we'll use all real numbers. You can use the capital R with the double stem to represent the set of all real numbers. It happens everywhere you go on this graph. So that means for f of x decreasing never happens, so empty set. F of x constant never happens, so empty set. Number 6, f of x increasing, that's the left-hand portion of this graph, everything to the left of -4, so x is less than -4. F of x decreasing, that's everything to the right of -4, so x is greater than -4. Constant never happens, so empty set. Number 7, f of x increasing never happens, so empty set. Again, thinking about a person walking left to right. They never go uphill. F of x decreasing, that happens 2 different parts of the graph, so we'll have to write 2 inequalities. For that left portion, everything to the left of -3. And then to the right-hand portion, everything to the right of 2. So join them with the word or, x is greater than 2. The flat part is between -3 and 2. So -3 is less than x, which is less than 2. Number 8, f of x increasing, going uphill from left to right. So that happens on that portion of the graph, so that's from -6 to 0. Again, you're looking at the x values. Or, we also have the second part, everything to the right of 6, so x is greater than 6. F of x decreasing, that's going downhill from left to right. That happens everywhere to the left of -6, and also between 0 and 6. And it never happens where it's constant, so empty set.